You might have intelligence, talent, sensitivity, even a good heart. But none of that will get you very far if you don't know how to ask. That's right. Those who don't ask, don't receive. Those who don't speak up, disappear. Those who wait too long, sink. And this is the biggest failure of 90% of people who live in frustration. They believe that simply deserving something is enough. It's not. Life doesn't hand out rewards based on merit, it rewards action. And if you don't know how to ask for what you want with clarity, conviction, and purpose, you'll spend your life swallowing hard as opportunities fall into the hands of those who had more courage than you. Have you ever realized how many things you've missed out on just because you didn't have the courage to speak up? How many doors stayed shut because you were waiting for the right moment? How many people could have helped you if you had simply asked? It's hard to admit, but sometimes the biggest obstacle between you and what you want is your own pride. Or worse, your fear of looking weak. But asking isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's knowing how to use effective communication to activate people, resources, circumstances. It's stepping into the game intentionally, unafraid to say, I want this. And more than that, I'm willing to do what it takes to get there. This video isn't another shallow pep talk about positivity or you've got this. Here, we get straight to the point. I'm going to show you how to ask the right way, how to speak with confidence, how to activate opportunities that are invisible right now, but that could completely change your life once you understand what I'm about to share. Because there's a technique to asking. There's an emotional, strategic, and even energetic structure behind the act of asking. And when you truly learn this, you unlock a level of personal power that will make everything around you respond in ways you've never seen before. It's curious. Most people spend their entire lives wondering why they don't have what they want, why success never comes, why life feels stuck. And the reason, more often than not, is simpler and more brutal than it seems. They don't ask. They don't verbalize what they need. They don't communicate their dreams, their boundaries, their desires. They swallow themselves whole, hoping the world will somehow guess. But the world doesn't guess. And those who don't express themselves become prisoners of silence. A silence that steals opportunities, pushes away achievements, and sabotages personal development. Asking isn't weakness. Asking is awareness. It's taking responsibility for your own journey. The truth is, life doesn't hand anything to those who wait quietly. It gives to those who show up, to those who have the courage to step out of the victim role and into the posture of someone who builds. The person who doesn't ask is the same one who expects to be recognized without showing up, to be helped without revealing their struggles, to be promoted without ever expressing their goals. But the universe moves based on clarity. And where there is no clarity, there is no movement. The absence of asking leads to paralysis. And without movement, there is no growth, no motivation, no action. Asking is the most revolutionary gesture of someone who wants to grow. Think about a professional who feels lost in their career but has never had the humility to call their manager for an honest conversation. Or a woman stuck in a cold relationship but who has never had the courage to say, I need more. Or even an entrepreneur with a brilliant project who freezes when it's time to pitch their idea. They all have one thing in common. The fear of asking is sabotaging the success they could already be living. When you ask, you activate connections, you invite life to listen to you, you open invisible doors. And more than that, you show self-confidence, presence, and initiative. And those who act with intention naturally begin to align with what they desire, even if they don't know how yet. And that's where the next step begins. Before you can achieve anything in life, you need to take the first step. And that step almost always begins with a simple gesture: asking. It might seem small, even silly, but it's precisely in that act that the strength of someone ready to move forward lives. Asking is what transforms intention into action. It's the exact moment when an idea takes shape and desire begins to become possibility. Without that movement, nothing happens. And while some people insist on waiting for the right time, the truth is, time only responds to those who take a stand. Asking is an exercise in presence and humility. It's recognizing that yes, you have a goal, but also understanding that you won't get there alone. And there's no shame in that. On the contrary, Asking is emotional intelligence in action. Those who ask take ownership of their own journey. They know how to use effective communication as a tool for growth. And this applies to everything. Asking for guidance, advice, a chance to show your talent, an opportunity to start over, even asking for feedback. And here's the most powerful detail. When you ask, the universe listens, but only if you ask with conviction. A simple, yet transformative example. Imagine someone who dreams of being promoted at work. They work hard, deliver results, are responsible, but they never voice their desire. Until one day, they schedule a meeting with their manager and say, clearly, I see myself ready to grow in this company. What do I need to develop to reach the next level? That's the kind of question that changes everything. Because by asking, they position themselves as someone with self-confidence, clarity of purpose, and a genuine desire to evolve. And when you act like that, you don't just activate opportunities, you become one. And then, life starts to respond differently, but only to those who understand the power of the next move. Asking just for the sake of asking doesn't work. The universe, people, even opportunities don't respond well to indecision. When you ask without clarity, you confuse. When you ask without conviction, you project insecurity. And when you ask without purpose, you come across as lost. It's like shooting an arrow without aiming, it ends up anywhere but the target. Asking with awareness is an art that demands inner alignment. Knowing what you want, why you want it, and what you're willing to do for it. Clarity is the foundation. If you don't know what you want, how can anyone help you? Conviction is the fuel. It shows you're not just curious, you're committed. Purpose gives it all meaning. It's not just about getting something, it's about building something that matters to you. Most people fail at this point because they ask with fear of being a burden, shame of being rejected, or doubts about their worth. But when there's clarity, communication becomes powerful. And from that, the right kind of motivation is born. A clear example, let's say you want mentorship from someone you admire. You could send a vague message like, hey, can you give me some tips? Or you could go straight to the point. I've been following your work for 2 years. I'm developing Project X, and I'd love to hear your opinion on point Y. I promise to be brief and respectful of your time. Feel the difference? One is shallow. The other is strategic. One closes doors. The other shows attitude, respect, intention. And that changes everything. Because when you know exactly what you want, even the way you ask opens new paths. And that's when something powerful starts moving in the unseen. The world is more responsive than it seems. It listens, it watches, but it only moves when you express yourself. The truth is, the act of asking works like a master key. It unlocks things that were once hidden in invisible drawers. People suddenly remember you. Resources that seemed out of reach show up out of nowhere. Unlikely circumstances start to rearrange themselves. And no, it's not magic, it's positioning. It's the mindset of someone who understands that when you move, you activate movement around you. It's as if the universe is in a waiting state, just waiting for you to clearly say, I want this. When you ask, you send out a signal. And that signal finds its way to the right connections, even if you don't know who they are yet. It's common for someone to ask for help with a project and hear, wow, I just talked to someone yesterday who could help you with that. Or, why didn't you tell me earlier? I know exactly who you need. That happens because asking pulls you out of invisibility. It gives you presence. It makes you an active part of a network that only activates once you put your purpose in motion. Silence is a desert. Expression is fertile ground. Want a real and powerful example? A woman who had been unemployed for over a year suddenly found the courage to post a sincere message on LinkedIn. I'm good at what I do. I'm looking for a new opportunity. If you're willing to listen, I'm here. Within 48 hours, she received over 50 messages. One of them became an interview. The interview became a job. The job became a promotion. All because she asked. Because she had the boldness to show up. That's the power of self-confidence paired with effective communication. That's the kind of attitude that creates shortcuts, that attracts what once felt far away, that reshapes reality around you, like it had been there all along, just waiting for you to own the fact that you want, that you seek, that you deserve. And what comes after that? Well, That's exactly what we're about to explore next. Now that you understand the hidden power behind the act of asking, tell me, how much longer are you going to accept less than you deserve just because you're afraid to speak up? How much longer will you let silence erase your desires? If you made it this far, it's not a coincidence. Something inside you already knows it's time to flip the script. But knowing doesn't change anything. Acting does. And asking, with consciousness, clarity, and courage, is the first step. So let me ask you, what do you need to ask for today? A fresh start? An honest conversation? A chance to show who you really are? Whatever it is, stop postponing. Go and ask. Use what you've learned. Apply it. Take action. Because those who ask build bridges. Those who stay silent dig deeper holes. And the line between failure and success, between frustration and growth, comes down to this. Who had the courage to move, even without guarantees? If this resonated with you, drop a comment below. What are you going to ask for today? I want to hear from you. And if this video hit you in the gut, made you think, or gave you the push you've been waiting for, then subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and join us on this journey of self-mastery, mindset, purpose, and real action. Because from here on out, there's no turning back, only forward.